afternoon. My name is Jeremy Myers. I'm the Christensen Professor of Religion and Vocation. We do these Thrive Talks a couple times a month. This is a partnership between the Christensen Center for Vocation and Campus Ministry. There's two reasons why we do this. One is to create a pause, a chance for us to just take a beat like that and be together. The second reason why we do this is to hear someone's story. Today, it's Chris's story, but as soon as Chris shares his story with us, and as soon as we receive it, then Chris is changed because he's shared that story with us, and we're changed because we've heard it, right? So it's Chris's story, but after today, it will be something that's his sharing it and us receiving it changes us, makes us better, I think. And you might be saying, why all this talk about thriving? Howard Thurman says it best, I think. He said, don't ask yourself what the world needs, ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Our world right now needs people who are alive and thriving. One way we learn about ourselves and our vocations and how we thrive, how we come alive, is by hearing others share their stories and how these things have happened to them. So Chris gets to do that for us today. Today we get to hear and receive Chris's story of thriving, and he gave me a short novel to read to introduce him, and I'm going to do it. I should have gotten water. Is there water? I'm just kidding. Chris is in his, there's a lot of great stuff here that people should know about you. Chris is in his 7th year here at Augsburg and his 5th year as head coach, head men's and women's track and field coach. He's built a program focused on developing the whole athlete on the track, in the classroom, and as leaders. He's a former University of Minnesota track and field student athlete. Chris competed as a horizontal jumper for the Gophers, and he currently stands 4th in Minnesota history in indoor triple jump and 8th in outdoor triple jump. And I checked just to see how long they were keeping records since the 1880s. So this is pretty significant. No, he did not do that in the 1880s. But what I'm saying is they've been keeping records for a long, that is a significant accomplishment. He earned his bachelor's science degree in sports management and master of education degree in applied kinesiology, sport and exercise science from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Under Chris's leadership as assistant and head coach here at Augsburg, student athletes have earned 10 MIAC championships, 20 All-MIAC, and 20 All-MIAC honorable mention honors. He's produced 5 NCAA Division III National Championship qualifiers and achieved 2 NCAA All-America honors. In addition to his role as head coach, Chris serves as the Assistant Athletic Director and Augsburg's Director of Athletic Diversity and Inclusion, working to ensure that student athletes feel supported, valued, and empowered within the athletic department and the overall university community. He's also a health and fitness education and wellness consultant, has founded and led several organizations, and is an entrepreneur. See, all this stuff we need to know about our friends here. Chris was awarded the Buckman Fellowship for Leadership and Philanthropy by the Dakota County Regional Chamber of Commerce and was selected as a rising alumni by the University of Minnesota College of Education and Human Development in 2014. Please welcome Chris Dixon.
Well, thank you, sir. Wow. I do quite a bit of speaking and facilitating and whatnot. This is the one I've been worried about the most because I'm talking about myself and my life. And so, pardon the nervousness. But here's what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm going to try to be quick because I know we only got like 15 minutes. I just want to share my story of basically how I got here. And two stories, honestly. I'm going to talk about a story of when I felt like I was on what I called the path. I'm going to tell a story about when I had a setback. And then I'm going to talk about the lessons I learned from those two experiences and how I thrive. So, let me tell you about the path. In high school, I was a pretty decent triple jumper. I learned how to triple jump my sophomore year in high school, and I was pretty good. And when I graduated high school, I knew it was important for me I never wanted to go to college. Like, I never did. That was a dream that my mom wanted for me. I wanted to go to college just so I could run track. I thought that one day I would be an Olympian. And so going to college my dream was just to get there so I can get to the Olympics. So after high school, I graduated my senior year. I got no scholarship offers, not one. I actually reached out to coaches and they literally told me I was not good enough. And I was devastated. And I knew that my mom could not afford for me to go to college. I knew that getting a scholarship was like the only way it was ever going to happen. So what I did is I moved to Illinois with my father, and I enrolled in a community college. And so my schedule at that time at 18 years old was I would go to community college from 8 a.m. to noon. I would go home, eat lunch. I would go to a local track and work out for about 2 hours. Then I would go to the YMCA and lift weights for about 3 hours. Then I would go home and eat dinner. Then I worked at UPS as a sorter from 11 to 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would do that 5 days a week. On Saturdays, I would drive to a local college, local meaning 2.5 hours away, Iowa State, Northern Iowa, Illinois State, Illinois. They were all 2 hours away from where I lived at the time. And I would compete. In track and field, if you're not affiliated with the team, you can compete what they call unattached. So I would just drive to the meet and I would just compete against college triple jumpers who were on scholarship, by the way. I did that because I wanted to prove to myself and everybody else that I could attain this dream that I had of getting a college scholarship. And I did this for 7 and 8 months with absolutely no offers from any coach in America. Later that year, I went to a meet at Iowa State, and I ran into who was then the head coach of the University of Minnesota. And I jumped at that meet, and this is like one of the biggest meets in America at that time. And I did really, really, really well. Jumped the best I had ever jumped in my life and got 4th or 5th place. And immediately after that, he walked over to me and said, "Chris, I want to make you a gopher." And a week later, I signed my scholarship offer. And at that moment, that was like the pinnacle of everything that I had worked for, because I dedicated my time and effort into something, and I achieved it. I was on the path. Now let me tell you about the setback. So I'm in college at this point at the U, and I had a pretty good freshman and sophomore year. And my junior year, we're at the end of the season, and we have what's called the NCAA regional meet, and this is the meet that determines who goes to the national championships. And I was determined, because I had worked so hard to get here, right? I was determined to go to national championships and prove that I was one of the best triple jumpers in the country. And I had my first jump, and it was pretty good, and I was like, let's go for this. Had my second jump, went even better. And on my third jump, I ran down the runway, came off my first phase, and I felt a pain that I had never felt before in my life. And what I later found out is that I fractured my ankle. And my season was over. I was devastated. But it's junior year, you can come back from this. And so I spent the whole summer, I was on crutches. I had 2 surgeries to heal my ankle. And I come back, and I spent my whole senior year rehabbing. And I didn't get to compete basically until the last meet of my senior year. And I was ready to go. I felt like I was ready to go. And, I competed in this meet, and my first jump went really well. Second jump went even better. And my third jump, I felt a familiar pain this time. And I fractured my ankle again. And I sat on the runway and cried because I knew that this was not only the end of my season, but this is the end of my track career. I will never, ever do this again. Something I spent I've been doing since I was a sophomore in high school. It's over. That was the setback. So those are the two stories, the path and the setback. And let me tell you what I learned from those two experiences that still helped me thrive today. When you're on the path, life is literally about those two experiences. You either are on the path or you're experiencing a setback. When you're on the path, you got to try to stay on that path. You're super focused, you're motivated, things are going well. When you're in a setback, it feels devastating. How I thrive today is I remember what it feels like to be on that path when I achieve something that everybody told me I could not do. When I experience setbacks, I remember that this is only temporary. I remember what it's like to be on the path. And for me, how I thrive is just battling between those two experiences every day. When are you on the path and when are you experiencing a setback? Every day, that's what I think about. So I'm going to leave you with 3 quotes. One is from Latricia Garrett Thompson. That's my mom, by the way. And from the time I was a little child, my mom would always tell me, you can do anything you put your mind to. She said this to me so much it got annoying. But when somebody told me I didn't deserve a Division I scholarship, that voice played in my head. You can do anything you put your mind to. That's what drove me on the path. You can't tell me, even still to this day, how I thrive is you can't tell me I can't do something. The second quote is from me. And I will add, I'm just adding to what my mom told me. I will say, you can do anything you put your mind to that you are willing to work for. A lot of people put their minds to things, but they're not willing to put the work in. I proved to myself when I was on the path that I'm willing to put the work in. The last quote, which I think is extremely important, is from hip-hop artist and rapper 2 Chainz. And it goes something like this. If you woke up this morning, you're winning. That's what I think about every day, and this is how I continue to thrive. Every single one of you woke up this morning. Guess what that means? You're winning. Thank you.